So the Toronto Raptors have made it to the NBA Finals, and whilst they're facing up against the back-to-back NBA champions in the Golden State Warriors, I thought we may as well give credit to the Raptors, who have shown that they can take the next step with Kawhi Leonard as their leader. We saw what they did with DeMar DeRozan, but in the end it just wasn't enough. And ultimately, as hard as it was to let the franchise player go, in the end we can say it paid off, because Kawhi Leonard has shown that he can take this team to the NBA Finals. So let's look at the Raptors squad as a whole and how they all came to be assembled as the first Raptors team to ever make the NBA Finals. So the way that this series works is we go from the point guard to the center, and we look a little bit at their bench as well, and just showcase how they ended up becoming a team and look at where they came from. So if you guys enjoy these types of videos and you want to see more, be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and let's get into the video. Number 1, at the point guard, Kyle Lowry. Hate the man when he's down, but praise him when he's up. This man has copped so much criticism in the last few years for not achieving and ultimately underperforming in the playoffs. But this year, especially in the last few series, he has stepped it up. And he could be the difference in the Raptors making some noise against the Warriors. Because considering Kawhi Leonard cannot do it on his own, we're going to need Kyle Lowry if we want the Raptors to win a game or 2 or 3 and hopefully 4. But he's going to be the difference maker because Kawhi can't do it by himself. He was selected by the Memphis Grizzlies with the 24th overall pick in the 2006 NBA Draft.
With the 24th pick in the 2006 NBA Draft, the Memphis Grizzlies select Kyle Lowry of Villanova University.
He only played 10 games as a rookie. He was the backup to Mike Conley. In 2009, he was traded to the Houston Rockets. In 2009-2010, once again he served as the backup point guard behind Aaron Brooks. But by the 2010-11 season, Lowry started to play a little bit better. He averaged 13.5 points per game, 6.7 assists, but then he was later traded, since the backup point guard of the Houston Rockets in Goran Dragic played really well when Lowry went down injured. And the Rockets decided they could trade Lowry to shed salary cap and acquire draft picks during the offseason. But hey, this was the best thing to ever happen to Kyle Lowry. We know the rest. It's history. Kyle Lowry, at 26 years old, finally found a home. He's now a 5-time All-Star and an NBA Finals player. Number 2, their shooting guard, Danny Green. This is not the first time Green has made it to the NBA Finals, since he won a ring with the San Antonio Spurs in 2014. But if you thought his run to the NBA Finals this year was easy, you had it all mistaken.
With the 46th pick in the 2009 NBA Draft, the Cleveland Cavaliers select Danny Green from the University of North Carolina.
He was the 46th overall pick in the 2009 NBA Draft, and after he played in 20 games in his rookie year with the Cavaliers, the team waived him at the beginning of the next season. Green was then picked up by the Spurs in 2010, and he was waived 6 days later. Then he went to the D-League, signed again by the Spurs, sent back down to the D-League. After that, he signed a 1-year contract with KK Union Olympia, which included the NBA out clause, which made him eligible to play in the NBA once the 2011 NBA lockout ended. He then returned to the Spurs after the lockout, and the rest is history. He won a ring with the Spurs, finished 9th in the league for the NBA Most Improved Player Award, and by 2018, he was traded for DeMar DeRozan along with his teammate, Kawhi Leonard. So for him to be the 46th pick, to being waived, to being picked up, to being waived to the D-League, to being picked up, to being waived again, and to still make his name as one of the best 3-and-D guys in the league, I think we better give the man his props. Number 3, their small forward, Kawhi Leonard. Yeah, we all know who he is, but once again, he's a guy that didn't enter the league being a superstar player he is today. We don't really need to get into him too much, apart from the fact that he's Danny Green's teammate. He's also an NBA champion, a Finals MVP, most likely a future season MVP. He's a 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, 3-time All-Star. But Kawhi Leonard wasn't always this good. At least the teams that picked before him in the draft didn't think so. He was picked with the 15th overall pick in the 2011 NBA Draft.
With the 15th pick in the 2011 NBA Draft, the Indiana Pacers select Kawhi Leonard from San Diego State University.
drafted by the Pacers, but then was traded to the San Antonio Spurs in return for George Hill. In hindsight, this wasn't the best trade, but clearly the Spurs saw something that the others didn't, including the Indiana Pacers. We know the rest. He had a great career with the Spurs, but in the end, he had enough. After 7 seasons with the Spurs, Leonard was then traded to the Raptors, and in 2018-19, he's leading his team to the NBA Finals. I don't think it really gets much better than that. Number 4, their power forward, Serge Ibaka. Yeah, I know what you're probably thinking. You see, I was going to put Pascal Siakam in here, but this is a video showing you guys about the heart and determination of this Raptors squad. Showing you that you can get drafted at the 26th overall pick, or you can be from a different country, or you can be an aging veteran who somehow is bringing this Raptors team to the NBA Finals. You see, Pascal Siakam, I think he has a great story, but he's also really young. And while Siakam was selected with the 27th overall pick in the 2016 NBA draft by the Raptors, and still classifies as a player fitting for this video, I just really want to talk about Serge Ibaka, because he was seen by many as being a lost big man in the league, even just a few years ago. A guy that really didn't fit anymore. Serge Ibaka. Serge, like Siakam, was a late first round pick, as he was picked with the 24th overall pick. This isn't really related, but the man is the 3rd youngest out of 18 children, which is pretty insane, but anyway, back to the video. After a great stint in OKC and a finals appearance in 2012, Serge started to decline, especially on the defensive end. With injuries, he was then traded to the Magic in exchange for Victor Oladipo, Ersan Ilyasova, and the draft rights to Sabonis with the 11th pick in the 2016 NBA draft. Not soon after, he was then traded to another country. He was traded to the Toronto Raptors in exchange for Terrence Ross and a future first-round draft pick. Once again, the rest is history. With the emergence of Siakam and the addition of Marc Gasol, Ibaka hasn't really needed to be involved in the games as much, but is still producing off the bench and helping the Raptors win games. Number 5, their center, Marc Gasol. Remember when I said Lowry played for the Memphis Grizzlies? Yeah, well, a lot of people never remember that Lowry and Gasol were actually teammates on that team, but neither was meant to be this good. Lowry was picked with the 24th overall pick in 2006, and a year later, Marc Gasol was picked with the 48th pick and drafted by the Los Angeles Lakers in 2007. Then he was traded to the Memphis Grizzlies in 2008, signed with the team but remained with the franchise until being traded to Toronto this season. But that 48th overall pick, who was traded, is now a 3-time All-Star, Defensive Player of the Year, a pivotal player in the Memphis Grizzlies teams who were always underdogs pushing the Western Conference powerhouses all the way. Just ask the Spurs, Thunder, Clippers, Warriors. Either the Grizzlies would actually beat those teams or lose in 7 games, led by Gasol himself. Always the underrated team back in 2012, 13, 14, 15, all led by Gasol himself. But once he was traded to the Raptors, people still knew he was Gasol, but not the level of Gasol he was back with the Grizzlies. Well, in these playoffs, he showed signs of his past self and continues to be a force at both ends of the floor, even if the stats don't reflect that. The Gasol trade transformed the Raptors from Eastern Conference contenders to NBA Finals contenders. Lastly, let's look at the bench very quickly. Fred VanVleet, undrafted. After declining 2 offers to agree to play in the D-League at $20,000 for 2 years by teams interested in drafting him in the 2nd round, a risk that obviously paid very well. Norman Powell was selected 46th overall in the 2015 NBA draft by the Milwaukee Bucks, but then was traded to the Toronto Raptors for Grievous Vasquez. After that, he was sent down to the D-League, and now he's part of the Raptors Finals team, and performing very well. I could continue to go on and on and on with players on this Raptors team. Jeremy Lin, undrafted. Anunoby, 23rd overall pick. But all these guys together showed that you just need a team that's willing to sacrifice and play well and play with each other. And the Raptors have shown that. None of these guys were meant to be star players in the league, but look at them now. NBA Finals contenders. Yeah, they're facing up against the Warriors, and I'm not saying they're going to win, but let's just see how far they can go. And let's see what they can do in the future. My point in this video is that I really wanted to share why I love this Raptors team. Even as a Miami fan, I think this Raptors team is incredible. One of my favorite teams to watch now, and I've really gained a lot of respect for them after watching them in these playoffs, and shout out to the management team. And thank God they got pieces to surround Kawhi Leonard, and in fact got Kawhi Leonard, even after the scrutiny they received for trading DeMar DeRozan. With that said, if you guys enjoyed this video, please be sure to subscribe for more. Be sure to follow me on Instagram. Let's see if this video can reach 1,000 likes for the next one. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out some of my other videos on the channel in 2 seconds. I am out. Peace.